Spider-Man might be the most relatable superhero ever created. Because you would be lying if you never saw a spider and hoped it would bite you. You would be lying if you never tried to shoot webs from your wrists. You would be lying if you never placed your hands on a wall and hoped they stuck. You would be lying if you never stood on a roof and wished you could web swing. You would be lying if you never wanted to be Spider-Man.
Protect me.
Cool Spidey outfit. Thanks.
So guys, this is not a Marvel video. There are no universes or multiverses or phase 4s. This is a video about my 2000s childhood and 2000 Spider-Man. Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. But before we get there, I want to set a platform by talking about Hollywood movies in general and what they meant to me as a child. Like, as a kid, I was drawn to action. I mean, come on, like most boys are. And like those most boys, I would imagine saving the school from terrorists in the middle of a boring lecture. How I would jump the gunman, steal his gun, shoot him down, only to dive across the benches and shoot his partner too. Then I become a hero and the principal gives me a medal. You know what I mean? Because this is like a very common imagination scenario, saving the school from the terrorist. And somewhere that itch was satisfied by Die Hard, Rush Hour, On Bank, Speed, The Terminator.
Hasta la vista, baby.
One would watch WWE with their elder cousins, or wish they had a Ben 10 watch. We craved action, but we also craved magic. So, what would I draw in that notebook to make it come alive? Where would I go if I had an anywhere door? And why does Kamehameha not work when I do it in my 1 BHK? I mean, seriously, why doesn't it? And in the movies, it was Narnia, Harry Potter, Jumanji, The Mummy, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. These worlds were so cool, man, so whimsical. Although, I must say this, dialogues were sometimes a hit and a miss. Because growing up as an Indian kid, one's English is meh at best. But since cinema is such a visual medium, it didn't matter, man. Like the pictures were enough. I mean, as kids, we weren't wondering whether the Matrix is actually a philosophical question about free will, simulated reality, and humanity's dependence on technology, or whether Neo's journey symbolized mankind's existential struggle to break free from invisible systems of control. We were not Googling any of that, or red pill, blue pill, or Trinity hot pics. We were simply looking for a bit of dishum dishum and a bit of abracadabra. A bit of dishum dishum and a bit of abracadabra is exactly what superhero movies are. You see what I did there? And how all of that was always leading into Spider-Man, the topic? Yeah, well, I am a genie. So back in the 2000s, superhero movies were not all-you-can-eat buffet. We didn't have a million different heroes or She-Hulk. There was Batman, there was Superman, and there was Spider-Man. And it was the crime scene photographer that I loved. Now, why Spider-Man has many reasons? And weirdly, color grading is one of them. You see, Batman always felt dark and gloomy to me, you know? And Superman always felt like sunset time. But Spider-Man always felt bright and cheerful.
Hi.
Now I understand that color grading is a tool filmmakers use to match the mood of the story and all that. But come on, man, as a kid, I just liked Happy New York more and Sad New York less. And then I can tell you that I loved Spider-Man because web swinging is cool, the suit is awesome, the guy is funny, the villains are interesting, and I really wanted to kiss girls hanging upside down. So cool. And all of that would be true. No lies here. But what people don't talk about enough is that Spider-Man's suit covers his entire body, which means anybody can be Spider-Man. Any race, any nationality, any gender. And Spider-Man became Spider-Man by chance, an accident. So anybody can be Spider-Man takes two meanings. Think about this, right? Batman is a billionaire, Superman is an alien, but behind that fully covered Spider-Man suit, are we sure it's not Prashant from Indore? And I believe it's that faintest possibility of maybe I too will get bitten that drew me closer to Spidey. It is only much later that I could appreciate the darkness of Batman or the nuances of why he doesn't kill. Only later could I sympathize with Superman for trying to be a human when he's not one, or respect for not acting like Homelander when he easily just could. The genius of Joker and the metaphors of Kryptonite waited till I was an adult. But that's okay. That's okay. Because when you're 11, Batman is only dark and mysterious. Superman is only alien and powerful. But Spider-Man is the kid who goes to school and gets bullied. I was bullied. You know what makes a great Spider-Man story? It's when the universe gives Peter Parker every reason to be evil, but he chooses not to. It's when the situations he finds himself in are so unfair that he should hate the world, but he doesn't. No matter how great the personal loss, Spider-Man always does the right thing. So a great Spider-Man story is when Spider-Man wins, but Peter Parker loses. Because with great power comes great responsibility. And as a kid, I couldn't articulate these feelings, but somewhere deep inside I knew what Spider-Man was. And I think more than the web swinging and the skin-tight suit, it was this that spoke to my outcast self. Things happen to Spider-Man that generally don't to other superheroes. He's unlucky, he's clumsy, he's awkward. But hey, so was I. And so are many other kids. And maybe that's why half of all people say their favorite superhero is Spider-Man. And maybe that's why his movies make billions, his face is on every child's backpack, and teenagers play his video games. Remove the powers, and we are all Spider-Man on some level. And I think that's just it. That's why Spider-Man. Look, 6 or 26, we are all looking for escapism. Back then it was a remote controlled car, a PlayStation 2, a chocolate covered cake. Now it's a cold beer, a joint, take out Chinese. But 6 or 26, a little bit of dishum dishum and a little bit of abracadabra never went out of style. So yes, you would be telling the truth if you opened your cupboard and hoped to cross into Narnia. You would be telling the truth if you put a broomstick between your legs and tried to fly. You would be telling the truth if you secretly checked on your toys to see if they moved on their own. You would be telling the truth if you ever shouted transform and hoped your car became a robot. And yes, you would be telling the truth if you ever wanted to be Spider-Man. Because for a moment, we all did.